and welcome to the Video Game AV Club. We are finally finishing The Last of Us series.
On HBO.
On HBO. We're watching all of them. We watched the first episode and talked about it, like, I don't know,
when it first came out,
Yeah.
It was premiere. We got it, we watched it. And so now that all the episodes are out, we are going back to recap there's 8. So the rest of the 7.
Yes. So we watched the second one just now.
Episode 2 is called Infected. The IMDb synopsis says, after escaping the QZ, Joel and Tess clash over Ellie's fate while navigating the ruins of a long-abandoned Boston.
So the crew really went to Michael's on this one, and they
bought all the vines.
And put them on all the cars.
Because there was some interesting stylistic choices that they made that we were like, no.
Yeah, it was definitely more of an art piece with like the way they did the shots. And
you want to talk about your cups?
I hate that they did shots where like anytime there was a cup in a scene, it was upright and just filled
chairs
with like
too. All the chairs were
dirt
upright
and not fungus, but like dirt and plants. And I was like, nobody tipped these over. Like They said at the beginning of this episode, they did a thing that I hate, which is like, let's go back in time and show why this place was bombed.
So we're in Indonesia at the very beginning, and we're at a restaurant, and the police come in, and there's an older lady, and they arrest her, and she's like, what'd I do? And then they're like, you're a mycologist, which I still don't know what that is. I think it has something to do with fungus.
Probably.
That's what she was looking at. And they have her look at a sample, and she's like, why did you color this?
She's the only mycologist in Indonesia.
So. And they say, this is what we do with humans. And she's like, these don't show up in humans. And then they have a body for her to look at.
Full nudity.
Yes, full nudity. It's HBO, so
Woo!
Not so much of a shocker, but...
Mycologist is someone who works with fungus.
Yeah, see, there you go.
And our living organisms such as molds, yeast, and mushrooms.
Word of the day, mycologist.
Can you major in mycology?
I'm sure you would. There would be a specialization.
In both the United States and the UK, there are no undergraduate mycology-specific programs.
You'd have to go to a master's. I think you'd have to...
You have to go to Indonesia.
Yeah. There's only one. And she's at a restaurant, so... her name is Ibu Ratna, and we also thought it was funny that they're speaking in Indonesian, but...
sometimes it'll just say speaks in Indonesian instead of giving you the subtitle.
When they're doing, like, the pleasantries.
Yeah, like you can totally tell what they're saying. It's like, thanks, no problem. And you're like, they just didn't want to translate that, I guess.
Or it was not part of the script that they were given to put in the subtitles.
I guess not.
And so she's poking around this body. It was bit in the ankle. It was shot in the head. And then she's like, oh no. She's like sticking probes in its mouth. And then she's having tea afterwards. And they're like, we need you to make a vaccine or some kind of treatment. And she's like, there's no treatment. There's no vaccine.
Gives up. She just gives up.
Bomb everything. Because there's a couple coworkers that this lady had. They locked her in a bathroom. She's like, well, how'd she get bit? And they're like, we don't know. But there's 14 other coworkers of hers missing. And she's like, oh, crap, we're done.
I think that's Twitter talk.
Yeah.
But whatever.
Yeah, you're a scientist. It's your job up until the end to try to figure out what to do with this.
I mean, I know she's the only mycologist in the world, but I think I get a second opinion.
Yeah.
Just saying. But whatever, you know what? They bombed everybody all the time.
And that's where we see Boston is all... Boston. Where you gotta park your car, where vines grow all over it. It looks somewhat bombed out, but not too bad.
Well, she talks about it. So, like, in the beginning, Ellie's asleep and getting watched by Tess and Joel.
Because previous episode, they found out that she was infected and Joel's got to kill a dude.
They're very nervous about her, so they kind of just watch her sleep.
People turn quickly. And so she's fine.
She slept the whole night. She didn't turn.
They're like, you want some of our jerky? And she's like, no, I brought my own
food. A chicken sandwich, so I'm better than
Screw you guys.
Yeah, nothing much else happens in that besides them being skeptical. And I think this is also when Tess or whatever really believes it.
And so she starts bonding with Ellie. She starts asking her questions. She asks how she gets infected. And she says, well, you know that mall? Yeah, I definitely went in there. She's like, by yourself? And she's like, yes. You got balls, girl. And
when they this is when she sees like a big crater and she's like, oh, so this is where they bombed, huh?
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's the whole point in the beginning.
This show moves so fast compared to the game. We're just cutting through things very, very quickly. We're not there. They do this backstory stuff to try to build the environment, where the game took a lot longer to be like, look, this is how this happens. You get infected, you start twitching, and then...
I was pretty mad at the intro because I hate when they do this stuff, but I guess it's similar to in games when you read text.
Go through the tutorial. Oh, you're talking about you find all those extra notes and stuff.
Or like maybe it'll be on like a radio or something that like is side content that you don't have to know, but
it adds to the story.
So fair enough. I guess I'll let it slide.
As long as it doesn't continue happening every single freaking episode.
We'll see.
So
the first place they go is the hotel?
They they go to the hotel because the frog is playing the piano.
Nice.
And you get the optional convo where Ellie goes up to the counter and presses the bell and was like, yes, I would like your finest room, please. Which is from the game. And
she's excited about this hotel.
They gotta cross through. So in the game, Tess is not with them at this point, and there are people in the hotel that they have to fight. That is not happening in this game. Tess is with them. They're trying to get to the Capitol still, and they're climbing through. There's nobody in the hotel.
Nope, it was kind of pointless. Yeah. It was just a cool shot of like green water and having to walk through it.
Where you're gonna get some diseases walking in that water, and we find out that Ellie can't swim.
But it didn't matter because it was waist deep.
Joel's being an asshole because he's like, hey, you don't have to swim.
He didn't tell it was waist deep. He just like walked in. And also they found a skeleton that jump scared him.
Yeah. We also have them bonding while they're waiting for Tess to find a way around. He says, nice knife. And then she asks about the infected because she's not been out of the QZ. And he's like, I thought you had an education. She's like, a bad one. And then he tells us that people have been infected for 20 years. Like
they said some people die between like 1 to 2 months like 20 years. But I'm assuming because like zombie, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
there's different stages of infection too, which they haven't quite got into fully.
So if the 1 to 2 months ones, are those dying because of accidents or getting shot?
Well, you see the people like glued to the sidewalk who the fungus dies out, right? That's if they're not getting fresh meat. I don't know how this works. And this definitely changes from the game because we'll find later that there is a network between the fungus.
Yeah, they changed it. At the little behind the scenes at the end of this, they were like, yeah, we switched to a different fungus network thing with the I don't know what the kind that they used.
Like the hive mind is what we were talking about. So Tess tells us that there is a large fungus thing under the ground that connects them all. So if you step on a vine of fungus
and it's fresh,
then
ripe and
all of the infected then know where you are, which I call bullshit.
Later, so
now this, and then bam, museum. Like
Bam Museum.
And he steps on a root, but it's old and dry. So like, well, maybe this is okay. And they walk in and then they see a fresh corpse.
A fresh corpse.
And they're not like, let's turn around and go the other way. No, they're like, let's
keep going.
Be super quiet and walk up because Ellie's like, I got attacked by something and didn't look like that. So she's like, what's going on? And of course they're not going to tell her.
Yeah.
So she's going to have to wait and see because it's the...
So clicker. They go up the stairs and then they get kind of
the pristine museum. Nothing's broken. Everything's dusty.
Break some glass for me. Actually, he did step on broken glass. So
because he broke the glass.
Well, there we go.
Yeah.
That's what I'm here for. I'm tired of all these glasses upright. Like nobody vandalized anything in this apocalypse, especially not even as clickers. Like clickers and like running into things.
There were all those statues of like the busts and stuff. I'm sure they were running into them. Like, I call bullshit.
It was such a weird set design to have that. They had a shot of the town with like a full restaurant that still had the cups up, but they were just dusty.
There was also in the hotel there was like a tray,
a room service tray that had like a bottle of alcohol and a cup up
with like lemon stuff in it.
It's fine. Yeah. It's like nobody.
No, it hasn't been 20 years or anything.
A bomb hadn't been dropped nearby that would cause shit to shake, huh? Yeah. Okay.
So we run into clickers and they tell us they can't see, but they can hear. So be super quiet. And Ellie's like, And then clickers turn and they have to shoot them. They get separated.
They're all fighting their own little clicker fight over here.
Yeah, and then Joel throws something into the glass, and then he sees Ellie. He crawls over. They're crawling away, and then Joel steps on the glass, and the clicker is gonna eat his face. And Ellie puts her arm up, and he ends up killing him. And then another clicker comes, and Tess is there and hits him with a freaking axe in the head, and he's still alive. But in the game, you can shiv them, so whatever. And then they shoot until he has no more ammo left in his gun, and then he uses it later. So they're okay. Tess has got a broken...
What'd you think of the clickers?
They're true to the game. So they did a good job.
We played the game of like, which one's CGI or real person? Because there were definitely shots where I was like, this is a CGI.
It was more like we were talking about the arms.
Oh, also, I know we missed this when we were in the hotel, but they wanted to like scare Ellie a little bit, I guess.
Oh,
so
they showed
her. No, they showed her all of the like people on the ground wiggling.
Oh, yes. So they're all of these like worm crawly humans. Fungus people.
Yeah, and that's how they told us they were hive minds. Because they were all like squirming at the same time and moving at the same time.
Yeah, it was
all weird. Right, everybody, squirm to the left now.
Squirm to the right. It's the clicker shuffle.
Squirm back out, y'all. One squirm, two squirm.
To the right, to the left. Now squirm.
Now squirm. Wiggle.
We're at the We're at the state capitol.
At the skate park. Yeah.
Where they're supposed to hand Ellie off to the Fireflies. There is a truck with no vines. Something's up.
Okay, so the cars in this, they look like they bought like the vines from Michael's because they look and wrapped them. Fake.
Fully wrapped them, but there's no other greenery around them. There's no vines going up to the cars.
Out of the car.
They're like, wow.
I mean, it's artistic. Mm-hmm. It's a decision that they made.
Yeah, but no vines anywhere else, just on the cars. And so state capitol, and they're like, okay, there's this truck with no vines, so let's go around it. There's a little bit of blood, and
there's a dead guy under
it, and then he opens up the back, and it's like a paddy wagon where there's like 2 rows of seats, but there's no one in there, and so he sees blood, and so he pulls Ellie. No, it's Tess that pulls Ellie. Yeah. She's like, we got to get inside. Mm-hmm. And then they're all dead.
They all look like they got shot.
Yes.
But they didn't. They said one of them got infected and attacked
they fought each other.
And they all lost.
Yes.
So Tess is freaking out right now.
Yeah, she's like, where are you supposed to go?
She's like, I don't know, west? She's like, okay, just trying to find
someone has to have a map.
Anything.
And...
this is when I think Ellie figures it out because she's acting erratically.
Yeah. And then she's like, oh shit, she's infected. Mm-hmm. Which happens in the game. She gets infected in the museum. She gets bit in the neck. So that was true to course. And then one of the dead guys move and Joel shoots him in the head. But then he's got little fungus on his fingers and that touches the ground.
Oh, yeah. He fell on the ground, it touched the fungus, and then so now all of the other ones outside that were squirming, they all know.
They're getting up and running like no other. And Tess is like, you have to do this. You have to take her to Bill and Frank's and set everything right. Even if you don't have the same feelings about me like I do you.
The same
I'm like,
world.
stop it. Don't do this to this woman.
Joel sucks. He just stands there so frozen.
Yeah.
He doesn't do anything until like the last possible moment.
It's the worst time to have the feels.
I know.
And he's like,
crying.
Crap. Yeah, he's starting to cry.
And finally, she gives him this full-ass speech before he finally decides.
He grabs Ellie and runs.
He doesn't...
and she throws a fit.
He doesn't take her equipment, test the equipment, which always to
me
was
she's still got her backpack with her beef jerky. She's not going to use that because she's throwing everything on the ground. She's throwing all these gasoline and there's all of these grenades. I'm like, take the grenades. You're going to need them.
Take at least one.
Yeah.
She can have a couple. Just take one grenade.
No. And so Tess has the lighter from Uncharted because it's not lighting at all as she's running, stepping backwards.
A book / show.
We did the movie.
Yeah, at the same time.
Mm-hmm. And the fungus people come in and...
reference to those who watch our show.
The fungus people come in and one of that's half fungi like turns and looks at her, and
like
this is
none
the
of them
grossest
bother
thing
her
ever.
at
No,
all. They
because
all
I
just
was like,
past her.
she's infected.
So I was
she's
like,
part of
yeah,
them.
she's one of them. So they're not coming, but one dude
He turns and sees her, and of course he's like mostly normal, and it's a dude.
Yeah.
Because he gets up close and personal.
He makes out with her.
That fungus comes out of his mouth and goes into hers.
He Frenches her with fungus.
It's
super weird.
And so gross.
Neil, what the hell was that? And also the lady who plays with Tess. At the end of the whole thing, she watched it and she was like, I didn't expect that to happen, but it happened.
Yeah, we didn't expect that either.
She didn't like it either. We didn't like it.
Uncomfortable. What they attack you and they bite you, but no, this one wants to make out with you with his fungus tongue. Yeah. Which is so gross.
That was a decision. Anyway, it does work. She gets the lighter to work.
And ba-boom.
Everything explodes.
And so it ends because it started with Ellie outside of the Capitol.
And
it ends.
That we accidentally messed up.
Oh. Sorry, we started at the end.
Yeah, we were watching somebody's file or whatever that already ended it.
We did it, yeah.
So, no, it didn't start like it
Dang it, that would have been better. Because you would have been like, oh, they're at the Capitol. No, Ellie's there. And then, no, we started in Indonesia.
All right, that's the end.
All right, join us.
We're just going to go on the next one.
Next episode.